a toast to the lassies, or shall I say, a politically correct toast to the lassies. An act was passed in 1850 by the British Parliament, you see. It was called the Interpretation Act, and this really is a fact. It made a person of either gender official. That meant that a he in law meant that she as well. For example, this would make it legally okay for a Scottish person to say, dressing for a ceilidh, he puts on his dressing clothes, he pulls on his kilt hose or pantyhose. Still, women felt and were left out, as they quite rightfully gave a shout. Women's lib has come a long way to the politically correct speech of today. Thus, the Scottish Parliament in Edinburgh passed a law that made gender-neutral language thorough, and to show as well their independence from London. This part, by the way, I made up just for fun. Politically correct language should end male superiority. Women should no longer be an ethnic minority. Some sayings would no longer be socially acceptable. This may be tricky, but I hope it is still acceptable, understandable. A person cannot live by bread alone. She needs a cup of tea as well, or a scone. I'm not so sure about the following switch in the insult, "You bloody son of a dog." Sounds kind of lame and sort of sappy. Might as well, "You naughty, naughty little puppy." If Neil Armstrong were a Scot, he'd leave the following quote behind. "A small step for a person, a giant leap for humankind." And what kind of people are in the boxing ring when it's announced, "May the best person win"? Anyway, how about a person's home is their castle? But the question remains, who wears the pants? That would be quite a hassle. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. That surely hurts to say that in a room full of kilts and skirts. What have other countries done to minimize the assumption about the biological sex of people referred to in speech? The state of Maryland discovered its motto was rather mean. Marylanders recite in Latin,
"Fate maschili, parole femminae,"
which means manly deeds, womanly words. To be politically correct, they bent over backwards. They simply modified the official translation. So now when Marylanders see
"Fate maschili, parole femminae,"
they should think instead, strong deeds, gentle words. I'd say that's something for the birds. Which brings me to my next example here in Berlin, where the zoo director committed a sexist sin. He referred to female staff as 0,1. For biological categories, that's how it's done. But his insider's joke turned out to be a real scandal. Such political incorrectness just can't be tolerated at all. Some people have suggested too that the word women, should alternatively be spelled W-O-M-Y-N. You may wonder, is this all a fad? Has political correctness gone mad? Retitling my speech may be worth some thoughts. A toast to the young intrauterine reproducing Scots. But, as Burns might say, that's blatherskite. Such nonsensical talk just isn't right. As every true Scotsman will swear until his final breath, lassies are not to be made fun of, but to have fun with. So, let us all raise our glasses. Here's to the lassies. To the lassies.
To terms with the German language, I would be perfectly happy to have a gender-neutral language, and it would make my life a lot easier. So I think I'm with you.
You're welcome, Kathy.
Anyway, now I have not in my whole life written a rhyming couplet, and I didn't think it was very fair to subject you to my very first attempts. So what I'm going to use tonight are 3 very short poems written by other people. But I'd like for you to consider 3 different aspects of the laddies. You may or may not agree with me. But I think the first thought about the laddies is that a lot of them, probably nobody in this room of course, think very highly of themselves. They're very proud people and don't like to be, belittled. Now this first poem is called The Puddock. Do we have any other Scots in the room? Yes, right, okay, well apart from those people, for the sake of the rest of you, you will need to know that a puddock is a frog. Now I did look this up, so it's der Frosch or die Kröte. Now there's an example to start with, a dare and a D. Anyway, the puddock. The other thing you'll need to know about this poem is heron. A heron is der Ryer, okay? And apart from that, you'll just have to make the best of it. So this is The Puddock, written by J.M. Kay. So a puddock sat by the Lochan's brim, and he thought there was never a puddock like him. He sat on his hurdies, he waggled his legs, and cocked his head as he glowered through the segs. The big seaweed crater was feeling that prude, he gapped his moo and he croaked out loud. Gin you'd a like to see a recht puddock, quo he, you'll never, I'll swear, get a better nor me. I've families and wives and a weel finished hame, we drink for my thrapple and meat for my wame. The lassies, I thought me a fine strapping chiel. And I ken I'm a real bonny singer as well. I'm nae to blah, but the truth I maun tell. I believe I'm the very MacPuddock himself. Now a heron was hungry and needing to sup. So he nabbit the puddock and gobbled him up. Simon cut his feathers, a peer thing, quo he. But puddocks, it's nae fat as they used to be. So that's pride comes before a fall for the poor puddock.